How you doing today?
I'm chilling, man. Just got off of work.
Awesome. And you work at a dispensary, right, in Maryland?
I do. Budtender. Well, I'm a manager now, but yeah, Budtender.
Heck yeah, same here. What's the dispensary you work at?
It's called Oceanside Dispensary. I'm sure it's going to change in like a week, but I don't know what to. But yeah, Oceanside.
Nice, nice. So, dude, I've loved your videos. I was telling before we had the mix up, I've discovered you through Koala Puffs. I saw her share one of your videos one time, and then I've just followed and been a fan since. If you want to just introduce yourself and a little bit of how you got started with everything.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I'm Cannaquest. I've been called Quest literally since I was in middle school. Somebody at a party gave it to me when I was smoking a joint. I was hanging out at a party in middle school. I was young, but yeah, because I went by Johnny and Johnny Quest, so that's how my name came about.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, I started making content about a year ago. I was a personal thinker for 6 years, so I was like real conservative with what I was posting because I don't want to spread on Instagram or Facebook, and then go down that rabbit hole. So long story short, I got displaced, which means I had the choice. I can go find another place within the banking industry to work, or I can actually go and just find another job in another industry, and they just pay me for 2 months. So
Oh, that's awesome.
I took that pay and I bought a ring light and I lived off of it just so I could start making content. Like within my first 3 videos, I went viral. So I just kept doing that and I looked for a dispensary job and there I am.
Nice. So you actually started creating content before you were actually in the industry.
Just about, yeah. The process to get into get badged to work in a dispensary here is so lagged. It's ridiculous. So even when I actually did get the job, I had like another 2 months before I actually had to actually go to work.
Nice. Well, I mean, I've created a couple videos before, and it's taken me like to create the actual first video that I put. It took me like a couple times of like wanting to shoot it, working out the idea in my head, and then shooting a couple times before I actually posted it. Did you ever do that, or like were you just like the first one? You're like, I'm just gonna put it out there and I'll grow and learn from there.
Well, luckily enough, I had enough experience from Vine. So I knew sort of what I was doing. I already knew what software I wanted to use. It was all kind of easy, but to that degree, but it's a lot of editing. A lot of editing goes into it. But as you go through and, start making content, it gets easier. You know what cues to look for, you know what I mean? And you can kind of edit towards that. And then you can get more ideas and experiment with the different software you decide to use.
Nice. Now, so you said you're on Vine before. What was probably the first video you ever created that you posted out? Cannabis or not cannabis related?
My very first video was ridiculous. I don't even know, but it was a guy laying down in bed. And the caption was, when you stay over your weird cousin's house. And the dude's in bed sleeping. And then he opens his eyes and his cousin is literally like above his face and just goes, dinner's ready. And then just off. Like, it's weird.
Yeah, no, I feel it.
But yeah, that was my first viral video. And that was pretty cool.
Nice. Well, I see in the comments a lot of people are loving your hair, by the way. So, again, a lot of love in there. Also on TikTok, you have to be careful with like what you post because they're against cannabis. I know I tried a few years ago just to do an edible post, so we weren't even smoking, and I worked for an edible company, and we had 25 milligrams and then 100 milligrams coffees. And so I did like one, and then it went to 50 milligrams. I was like, not quite. And I was like 100 milligrams. I was like, perfect. And I drank it, and they banned it. And I messaged them. I was like, hey, I like bought it in California. I'm 21. I did everything legal, but I didn't realize it's going off of community guidelines, which it's a Chinese company. So like they're completely against cannabis regardless. So what is some of the like loopholes you've had to do or ways you've had to get around those to still have your videos keep going and blowing up the way they are?
I figured that out with a lot of trial and error. So like just a little funny side story. I figured, okay, I can't roll a joint. If I make something look so ridiculous, they won't flag it. I see people smoking weed on TikTok all the time. That man is the only man I can smoke on TikTok. But literally, I would take a sheet of printer paper and roll it up into a cone that was like that big and just looked ridiculous. And I even wrote "not a joint" on the side of it. And like,
Just obviously.
yeah, obviously
Like
not
that.
a joint. That, and as soon as I posted it, they took it down. Like as soon as I posted it, and I'm like, cool. I won that dispute. They didn't put it back up, but I won the dispute, so it didn't really. I win most of them, so that's why my account actually is still up. I get tons of violations,
Gotcha.
but yeah, it's ridiculous. But my way around it, the loophole that I use is I just don't actually show cannabis. All stoners know what this is.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
You know, it's easy. You know what I mean? And they can never say I have cannabis without I'm doing anything because they don't know what that is.
Yeah. Now, luckily, we are on Relevant, which is censor free, so you are allowed to smoke. I know you just got off work, so what are you smoking on? What strain and what you hitting?
Word, yeah. So I decided since I was going to be doing this that I would break out one of my favorite strains, which is not necessarily the most expensive strain, but it's called Pineapple Upside Down Cake. I love it because it's a mix of, hold on, I don't remember, but it's a mix of terpenoline and ocimene and a little bit of myrcene. So it's real floral with a nice earthy undertone, but it comes off with like a sweet pineapple kind of taste. You know what I mean?
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
So
sounds like I think like a Pineapple Express and a shortcake or something.
yeah, exactly.
Nice.
Yeah, that terpenoline comes strong. What are you smoking on?
I got the Lemon Oz by Wonder Brett. Brett Feldman was the guy that got the OG and like Dr. Dre's Chronic and was like he was one of the big growers back on the West Coast in the day. So one of his strains. It's a good like nice hybrid sativa. I really love like limonene. I like the mix of the terpenes, but like limonene during the day, things like that, just really pick me up. And then myrcene at night. I really like the sativa or the indica. I mix with the hybrids a little bit, but I like more of like pick me up or put me down if I can.
Gotcha. Yeah, definitely. Got to get the entourage effect.
Exactly. All right. Well, let's blaze up, and thanks for joining.
Of course, man. Thank you for having me.
Now, you were saying a couple of videos went viral. What has probably been your most successful video that you've had?
I think I just actually made it. It was the first time I actually had my friend help me with the video, and it was down in DC. That one's sitting at, I believe, 1.5 million views on Facebook.
Congrats. Yeah. That is awesome.
Yeah, I love that video. It's about being badgered by a plug in the city because it happened to everybody, you know, or at a gas station, you know what I mean? You're walking in trying to get some Skittles or something. You got the 35, you meet the 35, you know, they're trying to run your pockets on the way in.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah, then, so I got to film that, and that was a cool time filming that because we were in the city, and I kind of like used a lot of people's actual reactions because only me and my boy knew we were filming. No one else did. So like I would wait for him to order food and then just walk up to him like, hey, yo, you want a 3-5? And just get like the lady's actual like reaction, or like he'd be talking to somebody and I'll just walk up or creep up on them.
And they're just like, damn, these people are getting reckless. Like,
yeah, I was like on federal property smoking a joint, like, you know, trying to like film this, and I had climbed a tree and like I almost got arrested. A cop came and just walked right up on me, and I was like, I didn't even see it coming.
Oh, damn. Yeah. I'm from Virginia originally, actually. I moved out to California about 5 years ago. And so I was at the President Trump's inauguration or whatever, but they're handing out over 4,200 joints. They ended up handing out over 9,000 joints. But we actually smoked in front of the Washington Memorial like 4 minutes and 20 seconds into the speech as a protest. And so it was really cool. Like, I know they're somewhat lenient, but they'll also still write you a ticket and shit.
Oh, yeah. But it's, you know, it's still fun to smoke there. It's so scenic.
Yeah, oh, it's gorgeous. It's a great place to visit. I just wouldn't want to live in DC.
They have good weed, though, but no.
So during your content creation, what's been like one of the most like challenging parts for you?
The censorship. I'm pretty sure I'm shadow banned on everything I'm on.
Damn.
And it's kind of terrible, you know what I mean? There's people doing a lot worse, and that's probably the hardest part. You spend a lot of time on content, and some things just do better than others, and it's just because of how many people see it. And I've noticed that's true because you can take a post on TikTok, right? And if it doesn't do well, you can take it off, post it again, and it'll go viral.
Really? Damn.
Yeah. Or you can take it down and someone else will post it, then it'll go viral. It's actually ridiculous.
Well, luckily with here, we don't have to worry about the banning or anything. We're not too big on the shorts and reels, but hopefully with more updates, this app is very new, but it's just been growing quickly. But if you ever thought about doing like your own Canvas podcast or so, I mean, I know this is a great spot to do more content for you. But I did want to get a little bit more into the cannabis markets of California and Maryland. So how long have you been in the industry?
Well, I've had my card for 3 years, but I've started working in the industry about a little over a year now, about a year and a half.
And you said that was a little bit of a strenuous process. What was the process of working in one or applying to a job?
Well, the only part is actually going through the state and going through the MMCC to actually get your card, and they are just take so much time. And I guess they have such an influx of applications; it just takes a lot of time for them to process it. So, you know, we're in my dispensary even now we're in the process of hiring, and if I say hire you today, I really shouldn't expect to see you come through until like end of July, maybe August. And that makes it difficult because 9 times out of 10 that candidate is not going to wait that long. You know what I mean? Like you have to. It's unique circumstances when that happens. Obviously, it's been getting better in the past couple of weeks. We've got a lot of people in, and like it's been more so like 3 weeks opposed to, at least from what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
But
No,
it took
I
me
mean
2 months personally.
that was a big reason I actually chose California over Colorado. Is I was trying to move from Virginia and go into a legal market. I was dealing at the time in Virginia because it was legal, but I wanted to go legit. And I visited Colorado, and you had to be a resident for 6 months of Colorado to apply for a blue badge when you could work there. In California, you could just move right away. As soon as you get an address, you can start applying. And so it's a big factor. And it's just crazy seeing the differences, even just to apply to the jobs, not even to get the jobs, but apply and get in the process is strenuous and ridiculous. Because, like you're saying, somebody wants a job, they're not looking for a job in 3 months. Or usually, I need a job now. I got bills to pay. I got rent to pay. Shit like that. So walk us a little bit through your experience of like at Oceanside. Like, how is it set up when somebody comes to your store?
I like my store. I really have a passion for helping people, and luckily, my dispensary is kind of ran by like a pharmacist, sort of. So like a traditional pharmacist who went to like an alternative route. So that's kind of how she bred all of us, is to really go by the book, look up the latest science on how to treat each different illness, or whatever have you with cannabis, with whatever terpene cannabinoid that works best. So it's different than a typical dispensary, because if you come in and you're just like, you're trying to get high, you need to specifically say you are just trying to get high, because otherwise, I'm going to be, hey, what you looking for? What are you trying to treat? Are you looking for, some kind of relief from ABC, or are you looking for a nighttime or a daytime? Hey, what's your favorite terpene? Like, I'm trying to have a whole conversation, gotten to a point now where I have to kind of start with, hey, do you want to just go ahead and look through the menu, or would you like some help?
No, absolutely. And we're one of the few shops even around here, but we're sort of like grocery store style. So like you go and you get a basket and you can actually grab things off the wall, and then we're there to assist you. But I love it because a lot of dispensaries, they will try to upsell, and you have like 2 or 3 smart bud tenders, but then the rest of them are just kind of employees there because it'd be fun. But I love it because your shop is kind of like ours, where everybody craves the knowledge, and we want to know as much as we can. And that's what it is when you come in, I'm not pushing up what we're selling today. All right, tell me about you. What are you looking for? And then from there, I can help direct you. But I need to know, why are you using cannabis? Because there's so many different ways and different reasons for people to use it. So I need to learn about you before I can even tell you what you should buy.
Exactly. Like, we go even as deep as like prescription interactions with CBD, so we can make sure that there's no adverse effects from that. So we have
Love
to like
that.
study that kind of stuff. Like, it gets really deep. And, you know, sometimes you just have to, like, you know, encourage people to get their card, where you have this, you know, older woman who's trying to, like, you know, she's slowly losing it, or a family member slowly losing it, like with Alzheimer's, and they don't realize that cannabis can help with that too. Or, you know, ADHD, or, you know, the most acne, you know, eczema, random things that people wouldn't think to use. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And shoot, I just lost my train of thought there. It happens. But what is the average price of? Oh, actually, sorry, it just came back. But when we have Budtender trainings or things like that, I don't know if you guys have those, but where a brand will come in and try to train you on their product. We actually just had one rep come in the other day, and I won't say the brand, but he tried to be a salesman, and he tried to be like, "Hey, I work in these nursing homes," and then he's like, "Well, we have good ratios of like a 3-to-1, a 1-to-1, and stuff like that." I was like, "That's awesome," but like we just started to grill him, and he's like, about like, why is your cream a transdermal? And he's like, the cocoa butter. I was like, well, that doesn't make sense. And so we all just started like to grill him on different facts of scientific, and I kind of loved it because, I mean, I didn't like to grill the guy. Like, we don't try to tell somebody they're bad at their job or so, but we don't want to sell anything that you don't understand what's in your product either. And I think the industry is kind of trying to change that, not just about the highest THC, about all the information and kind of pushing out of the patients a little bit, but I think it's really good of like your dispensary focusing on the knowledge and the science behind it, not just, oh, this is like a good packaging or anything like that.
Oh yeah, you can learn something new every day. I learned something new today.
Exactly. You want to tell us what it was?
Yeah, I didn't. Well, I learned two things. The more interesting thing to me is about terpenylene. Terpenylene, isolated by itself, acts as a sedative. Combine it with anything else, like THC, it is a stimulant.
Okay. I see. Yep. You learned something. Oh, that was in your video earlier, actually.
Yeah,
Yes.
make the video.
Yes. See, I actually love the videos like that. I love the funny ones, but I love that you're also doing the educational ones. And also of your videos, my favorite ones are where you shit on vape carts. Because, I mean,
It's so
they're
easy.
right? Like they're good for convenience. If I'm at a baseball game, I'm at a concert, awesome. But expect I don't know how it is in Maryland, but in California, I can spark up almost anywhere. Like I've had cops pass me as I smoked a joint and they just kept on driving. Like as long as you're not smoking by people, like being in people's way, like really messing with people, like you're good.
Yeah,
How
see,
is it
that's
out
not
there?
like that in Maryland. No, like, I mean, it depends kind of where you are. Like, if you're in Baltimore, for instance, they don't really care what you do in Baltimore. But like, if you're in like if you're in a, yeah, they probably will care a little bit if you're off to the side. But yeah, no, I mean, I still shit on vapes because I just don't want. The problem with vapes, if you want to know, is because people come in and ask for an 80%, a 90% vape, get it like for half a year, and then come in and say they don't get high anymore. And that's annoying because you just burnt out your receptors. If you were
Yep.
getting like hash rosin carts that were like 50% or something like that, that were more on board on like levels with concentrates, so that you can at least save your receptors at least somewhat, then fine. But you burn out your and then make it our problem.
And for me, I just like to keep it as natural as possible. Like if I can get the real thing, flower, like that. I love to try everything, and like I do use vapes, I use edibles, I do dabs, but I love my ball. There's just nothing that beats that.
And on top of that, whatever strain that they're saying that cart is, unless it's like a specifically that flower, it's going to be a bunch of different distillates they're trying to put together to literally make that strain. You know what I mean? It's not
Oh
that
yeah,
actual fresh strain. I want the truest thing to the actual strain. So like, you know, if I say, hey, I tried Pineapple Express, because that one doesn't grow that much on this side, so we can get it in a cart, but we can't get it in a flower.
yeah.
So, you know, no one's really smoked that around here.
And that's why I hate sometimes the names. They'll be like a live resin distillate. I'm like those completely like counteract or like
That doesn't make.
diamonds
Why are you
like live
mixing?
resin. And I'm like those aren't. That's not the same. I'm like just because you add different, they're just adding different terpenes and sometimes food grade terpenes. Like these big things that are very popular here are Jeters, like mini Jeters, and
Mm-hmm.
they're so popular because they taste like cotton candy and churros and horchata and stuff like that. But they use food grade terps on it, and I'm just like, let me taste flour. Flour tastes amazing, but you don't have to mess with it. It's been going for thousands of years, and it's gonna go for another 1,000 years.
If anything, it tastes better than it has back in the day. But you don't need to do anything to it. It's a great
Exactly.
process. It wants to grow and wants to thrive.
Absolutely. So, what is the average price of like a cart, an eighth, or edible? It's kind of just like what's the average price somebody's gonna spend?
So you can get a distillate cart for like as low as I've seen, like in my dispensary in the past like month, like $18. That's if you're like extremely lucky. But if you're moderately lucky, you can see them for like 27.
Yeah, we have some for like 25, but in our dispensary we do like 30 or 35 because we don't sell the like low ones that you can find online that are easily marked off. Big Cheats were a big one that were just sold on the black market as well. So those are easy to fake. How about an eighth? Is it just average prices usually between like 40 to 60, or I
Depends on
mean
the
some
sale
is
day. Now keep in mind this is all medical. We don't have any rec, so everyone
okay.
is so everything is tax free, and there's only
That's
a
nice.
certain amount of brands that are allowed to be on the market. So they all have to heavily compete with each other. So you can get an eighth for anywhere as low as like $15, depending on the sale day.
Nice.
You can. It's actually ridiculous, which gets kind of tiring. I'm not gonna lie, because you see a lot of the same strains. Now it's because it's summer. You're getting a lot more coming out because they're really competing.
Hmm.
But yeah, you can get a good eighth for like 35, $40. But if you want to go top of the line, the most you're gonna pay if you want top of the line is 65. You will never pay
Okay.
more than 65 for an eighth.
Yeah, that's what the highest in our shop goes for. Now are you guys still in the big jars and like pulling out and weighing and stuff?
No, we
Or,
don't. We don't touch it at all. You want to see some jars?
yeah, I'd love
All
to
right. So
see.
let's see some Maryland containers. All right. So for instance, we get these kind of bags. We don't get those
Okay.
flashy bags. We don't get nothing. This is real basic. I think that's in the Maryland's guidelines that they can't be too flashy. Now, this is a little more gaudy. This is a Jerry Garcia. You
Oh,
may
we had that.
you may see this one,
Yes.
right? This one's ran through Holistic in Maryland. So, this is the brand, but they're ran through another
Hmm.
cultivator. We get these little. I got SunMed. They're on the up and up.
Okay.
Kind of like bland jars. You probably have this one too. Mike Tyson.
Yeah, that's one of our house brands actually. I work for Cannabis, and he's one of our house brands. Plus, he's actually a creator on Relevant. I got to hop on his podcast on 420 and smoke with him.
That's dope.
It was really cool. A couple of Captain Hooter did as well, and yeah, it was really sweet. And so he's going to be doing a lot more. He hops on occasionally, but he's got his own vibe on here as well.
Cool. I'm gonna have to sneak in that one day.
Right. So what if you could change one thing in the industry that you see in Maryland's market or in the whole legal industry? What would you change?
Right now, to my knowledge, Las Vegas and Maryland and where else? There's like there might be another two states. They're the only ones that test for terpenes, and that is that's a disservice to medical patients, like patients that actually need some kind of relief. You
Mhm.
need to know what the myrcene count is. You need to know what the limonene is. It's so inaccurate to just be like, this is a sativa, this is an indica at this point in time because of how cross everything is. That's so antiquated. So I would like to say I want to see everything terpene tested, because just because this pineapple upside down cake tested dominantly in terpenol doesn't mean that when so and so in Detroit grows it, he's going to use the same exact circumstances as me and get the same exact results. Like, he can
Yeah,
change the lighting, he can change the time he cures it, he can
the
do a
soil.
number of different things and just completely ruin the reason that this flower provided me relief.
Yep. No, and I'm glad you brought that up. There's a few companies that do that here in California, but it's not required. So, and it actually kind of annoys me sometimes because I'll see them do like there's one company I really like. It's Cream of the Crop. They have good tasting flower, good punch, but they mislabel their stuff all the time because it'll be a strong indica high in limonene, and so I'll smoke it at 2 o'clock in the morning and be up like just for 2 hours for no reason, or well, there is a reason. But and so it kind of knows me. So I'll go and I'll be looking and I'll be like, well, that's an indica. That's not really an indica like this, and their labeling is just way off. But Nevada, when I went this one time they printed off all the test results on my receipt too, and I love that. So like when you got your receipt, you had each product and you had the THC, the terpene percentage, the CBD, the CBN, like all that was on your receipt. And so that's one thing I would love to see every single market take advantage of.
Yeah, in Maryland, it's dope. They're literally on the jars.
Yeah, that's how a couple of the companies do it, but unfortunately, not every company is required, which I wish they were. Now, what's one law you see in Maryland that just makes absolutely no sense to you? Like
You
for
can't smoke
me,
in your
okay.
house.
Wait, what?
You
You
can't
mean just
smoke
like
in
no
your house.
smoking like on like
So like, okay, let me
leases
clarify.
or
So if you live in a
yeah,
townhouse, an apartment, a condo, a literally anything, you can't smoke. You can't even vape unless your condos, whatever your guidelines say, what you can specifically do. Now,
yeah,
you sign a paper stating that you can't smoke in your house. Now, if it's your own house and you own it, like you pay the mortgage, yeah,
yeah.
you can do that. But like anything else, you can't do.
I mean, there's a lot of places that do that, like landlords say no smoking apartments, stuff like that. But it's depending. But there are some that are really really strict on it. So like, yeah, I have seen that. The law
Or
that
like a
really makes
townhouse, man. Come on, a
yeah,
townhouse.
exactly. Like it's ridiculous. Like get with the times. It's legal, or pretty it should be. Uh, but one salt law that makes no sense to me for some reason in California is so you're limited to an ounce of flour per day, 8 grams of wax, and the edibles are like 8,000 milligrams, unless you have a medical card. But most of the people that have medical cards in California are 18 to 20-year-olds that aren't 21 that can't like buy. So the people that are allowed to buy so much fucking weed are most of the time the kids. Like I know what they try to set it up as, but the way they set it up is like the only way you can buy weed before you're 21 is to have a medical card, and
That's
the only way
hilarious.
you're buying
That's hilarious.
right? So they're like, you can't buy an ounce of weed if you're over 21, but if you're under, here you go.
Take it.
Yeah, for sure. Sell it to your high school friends. Go for it.
We give a discount to minors at my dispensary, and we don't actually put the reasoning why underneath it. So people always come in, they're like, "Wow, why do minors get the best discount?" And I'm like, "Yeah,
Like we do a student discount, so like you could be a college student, you could be like, and we hate that there is a high tax in California, so like we hate the tax. So like we'll say anything, be like, say you're a student life, say you're a yoga teacher, say you're a surf instructor. I don't care. Like you give me any reason of student, teacher, whatever, good enough, 15% off.
teach something."
Yeah, you know we're all educators in one way or another. Um, so if everything worked out, content creation, dispensary, whatever, what would be your dream? Either in the industry or outside the industry, what would you? Where do you see yourself in a couple years?
I see myself working a lot of events, uh, displaying a lot of products for different companies. Whatever you see Koala doing. She's
Hell
been a
yeah,
great help and given me a lot of advice to a lot of all this. And when I started, I really didn't have an idea of where I could go with any of this. So a lot of this is like kind of walking in the dark with my hands in front of me, and just like
yeah.
what I mean. But
Because I mean, it's a Wild Wild West. Nobody's done this before. You're
yeah,
a pioneer on this path.
yeah, it's kind of a slim market. I see myself doing commercials because when this goes rec federally, there's going to be commercials hitting every single TV station. So
Absolutely.
why
No, I
not
mean
take someone who's been doing it already for quite some time?
and that's exactly what I did. I just recently started my own marketing consulting company to do commercials, market stuff like that. Because especially with some of these companies, like I go to their websites and I'm like, there's no education or way your Budtender could sell your product. It doesn't tell them anything about the strain, doesn't tell them anything about this. I'm like, there's little things you could do that would triple your sales like that if you just made it easier for your Budtenders, because those are the ones that are selling it. Period. Like it
Absolutely.
doesn't matter how well your marketing is, everything like that. If your Budtenders don't know how to sell your product, it's not going to sell.
Yeah, you have to treat the budtenders well. That's why growers and brands that give samples out to the budtenders do better, because unless you have bad products, but only
Yeah,
people who have good products really give samples.
absolutely. And I say, like, I used to work for a edible company, like I was saying, the coffee one, and I was a brand manager, so I had to do all this, talk to influencers, get us in shops, train our sales reps. And the biggest advice I give to these companies is you want to be a Budtender's top three. When you come in, they're not going to name every single product they have on the wall. They're not going to name like every vape, everything. There's like, especially when you get a California market, there's hundreds of different companies. And so you want to be their top three. When I say vapes, you want to be in my top three of vapes. Flower, boom, you want to be in like that. Like, regardless of what it is, you want to be a Budtender's top three. So when they're saying, hey, what's a top flower? Oh, you got to try this company. And it's usually the one that has hooked me up with samples that I've tried their different strains of their stuff, hooked me up with swag, like whatever it was. It just, they were always in my face and always letting me to try it. And it wouldn't be just because they were giving me stuff, but it was, I got to try the product, so it was easier for me to sell. They're like, oh, I tried this on my break 30 minutes ago. This is how I'm feeling.
Absolutely, yeah. That was a great way to put it. I'm gonna talk to people in my job tomorrow when I go into work because I love that way you just phrased that. You got to be in my top three.
Exactly. Like that's the biggest point. And so there you go. That's why I love it. So you always learn different things each day. So you're saying that koala has helped you and stuff. What is some advice you would give to anybody just starting out that's wanting to become a content creator, either through TikTok or in different ways?
Couple things. First one, whatever you can do to make your quality better, find a way. I love actually filming through TikTok, but I found an app that lets me film in 4K with like the best resolution. So now I have to figure out the way to, move it over, but it's worth it for the quality. So best quality you possibly can put out with whatever you have. It doesn't matter. Some videos are not going to blow up. Just keep posting. That's the big thing. And if you're on Instagram, don't hashtag. You'll lose your account so fast.
Okay. Good to know. And then what's coming up next for you? What's either some new videos or any big news coming out you're working on, or either with a dispensary you're working with? You said it might be changing names.
Yeah, so like the uneventful part, yeah, I think my dispensary is going to get bought. I have no idea, so I can't say too much about that. But besides that, I have 2 giveaways coming up. One with the Happiest Hour. They do terp shots, so literally shots you can take. Matter of fact, I will show you.
Hell yeah. There we go.
I literally just got this in the mail.
And there we go. Before anybody else is seen, before it's TikTok seen, before it's Instagram seen, you've seen it here on Relevant. Unbox it.
They're mini terp shots that you're supposed to take before you smoke.
Okay. What's the company?
Everyone's heard that if you eat a mango before you smoke, it intensifies the high. Well, this comes with a 15 milligram mango myrcene shot. So you take it and then smoke, and yeah. So we got a bunch of those. We have, where is it? We have the Wake one, which is cool because this one's made with humulene, terpenoline, has a little bit of caffeine, I think. It just has a bunch of different terpenes. So this is going to be cool. I'm going to be doing a giveaway for this.
Coffee replacement?
Huh?
Could be a coffee replacement or go along with the coffee, depending.
Exactly. So I'll be doing a giveaway with that. I have a couple of new partnerships that I just came out with, which I'm now telling people for the first time. I'm now partnered with G Pen and Student Glass. So Congrats. That's fun. Thank you. So I have a couple codes out for that, so if people want to save some money. And I'm having a smoking party in Baltimore. I want to say July 30th. That's the day.
Nice, man. Well, dude, sounds like a lot is working out for you. A lot more to come. Especially now that COVID's over, events are going to blow up. And I'm just loving the cannabis festivals that are going to be happening. If you want to tell everybody also, I saw a lot of your Cresco stuff. If you don't know, Cresco has bought Cannabis or Columbia Care. So, I don't know, maybe we'll be popping up in Maryland as well. And hopefully I can come out there. I will be coming out there for a wedding in October to Virginia. So maybe I'll come up to Maryland or so. And we can smoke up together one day or so.
Hell yeah, man.
But if you want to tell everybody where to find you, and yeah.
I made it really easy for everyone. just Google Cannaquest.
Perfect.
Yeah, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Reddit, literally anything is going to pop up when you Google me.
Awesome, man. Well, you want to do one more bowl together, and then we'll send this off?
Absolutely.
Or does anybody have any questions for Cannaquest as well? Go through.
Yeah, I feel bad. I haven't answered any of these or looked in.
Yeah, I apologize. Sometimes you just get caught in conversation. It's hard to keep up with the questions.
Yeah.
I think somebody might be typing questions, so while we can just smoke up.
Yes, sir.
It's 420 somewhere. Well, I don't see any questions, so I appreciate Quest. It's been an honor. Hope to see you grow even more, and hopefully we can work with each other down the road.
Hell yeah,
You have
man.
a
Thanks for
great
having me.
day. Yeah, take care, brother. Have a happy 420.
All right, man. You too. Peace.